And we are back with another episode of the #1 rated business show right here on the Real 1100 AM. I'm your host, Kevin C. Pride. And we had a great one for you today. I got a jam-packed show today. We're talking all entertainment. We're so glad to be back on air. We had to take a little time off. We're a little discombobulated today. That's all right, though. Let me get some sound going for you guys. And let's get cracking with the show. Yep. All right. Man, I'm telling you. All right. We are finally on air. I think we are good. I think everybody is tuned in and everybody's watching. So once again, we got a great show for you guys today. If you are out in the Douglasville area, please stop by and see my barber at Studio 1211 right there on Fairburn Road. You can take, exit 37 right there in Douglasville. Take that to the right all the way up until you get to Studio 1211. I promise you, it is a great barbershop, great place to be. We are having a few little technical difficulties today, but that's all right. We're going to get past it. So coming up today, we are all entertainment. We got a couple entertainment moguls coming up for you, but starting us off today, he is a national recording artist, and he goes by the name of Niko Brown. Thank you so much, Niko. How you doing today, man? I hear you, man. I hear you. So tell me, man, I'm reading through your bio, man. I see you've been inspired by hip hop, like so many of us. But tell me, what does this Huey Newton feel to your music that you're talking about? Okay. All right. Well, tell me this. What is it like being a recording artist this day and age? Okay. Okay. But and I agree with you there. There is definitely a lot more opportunity and a lot more chance to be independent and do your own thing. But what does this like trying to get above like all this stuff going on? Because like now you got social media just full of stuff. Then you got YouTube and all these other platforms out there, SoundCloud and so many others. How do you start to rise above some of that stuff? And start to get your name out there for some of these young artists listening.
Your time day in and day out, to executing the vision. Like you have to be committed to seeing this through, not just as the artist, but a lot of the work you're going to do as an independent artist. A lot of the work that do.
Okay.
You got to be able to put in a lot of hats to look at your to roll out your marketing and still finding ways to create great music. I feel like that's the best way that you could approach it. It's like, people are making music nowadays, and it's always been that way, but now more so than ever, it's a brand. And people are going to identify your brand, by you doing the extras to separate yourself. Everybody is gonna rap. Everybody gonna make beats. But what is it about you that you bring to the table that the next man is not really bringing? And I think that the best way you can start identifying that is just, looking at yourself, man, and realizing you are a brand, and whatever you bring into the table is what's going to be able to separate.
I love that philosophy, and I love that mentality. I used to actually own a studio here in Georgia a few years ago, and I used to have so many of these young kids come in. Man, I'm so talented. I got all these great raps and all this type of stuff. But the part that they didn't understand is that brand. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about your talent in music. It's about, can it sell, and can you use that to sell other products and stuff like that? So explain to us some of the branding that you've been doing to help kind of rise yourself out there, because I see that you're a rising star. You're really starting to grab some national attention from just all over the place.
Yeah. I think one of the big things is I had to start leaning on the things that made me different and that made me unique, because I feel like a lot of the time when there's so much going on, it's easy for you to see like, oh, everybody is doing X, Y, and Z. Let me do X, Y, and Z and just add my little spin to it. But it's like, nah, man, you got to see what your strong suits are that are different from everybody else. And I feel like that was the first thing that I thought to myself as well. I have a big passion for this community work.
Okay.
I have a big passion on, building Black businesses and Black ownership. I take, big pride in that. So I was figuring out ways that I could, lean on these things, because now when I'm coming into a marketplace, I'm offering, and I'm in different conversations that everybody else may not necessarily be in, particularly at my age and with what I'm trying to do. And I also think that a big thing that was helping me with, creating my brand was being willing to take risks and, being willing to step outside of my comfort zone. Because a lot of the time when you're working, it's much easier to just say, oh, I don't really like the cameras, or you may not really be interested in certain opportunities, but you have to be willing to trial and error. It's like the moment you get comfortable, the moment everything around you becomes stagnant. So I think it's always going out on that limb and not being afraid to do the things that, necessarily everybody else may not be doing, but that's still true to yourself. So some of the greatest artists we're seeing right now, they penetrate in these markets because it's like they're authentically bringing themselves. And because they're bringing themselves, they resonating with, their fans.
Now, what are some of those things that you're concerned about in your community? What are some of the things that you see in the community right now that you see is the big need that you really want to jump in and try to make some changes?
I really want to make some changes around ownership in the community. I feel that, there's not much ownership where I come from here in New York, and I'm sure there's a lot of other places, Black communities all around this country that could feel the same way. Oh, yeah. I'm also big on raising awareness on, community based after school programming, because where I come from, when I was growing up, we had community based programming. Once I got into high school, that was pretty much taken from us. And I see direct effects with, a lot of the homies that I'm losing in the streets because we didn't have outlets to kind of tap into some of the talents that we had that would keep us off the streets day in and day out. And I also feel like feeding people, man, like wow. Food insecurity is one of the major things. A lot of people don't go home and they don't eat every day. And these are people that you're speaking with on a consistent basis. And I feel like, if we can continue to have ownership and some sort of programming for after school to allow kids to exercise certain talents and gifts that God gives them, and, feeding these kids, it's like, we can be on the right path for the future.
Wow, man, how old are you? Because you sound so just mature, and you have just these great goals, man. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I'm 23.
Oh, okay. Now, how long have you been recording now?
Man, I've been recording since I was like 17. I started recording when I was in high school.
Okay, wow.
And when I started recording, I was in high school, but I also played instruments. I played the drums, I played a little bit piano, I played bass.
Okay.
So like music was always something that was always close to my heart. I wasn't the biggest athlete growing up, you know what I'm saying? I always had a niche for music, but I started when I was in high school, and fast forward to now, I'm probably about 6 years, or so, just really, hitting the ground running.
Wow. Now, what are some of the things that you talk about in your music?
Well, in my music, I talk about a lot, but I think a lot of it is I talk about my experience, but also the experiences of people around me, and some of that might be considered like soul searching. I might discuss love and where it's brought me, some of my decisions, where it's brought me, and like just observing my environment. I feel like there's kind of a philosophy behind the way that I write, similar to my guys like Jay, Nas, Kendrick and Cole.
Okay.
Where it's like, man,
you're talking some big names now. Hold on now.
Yeah, those are big names, and those are the names that I'm going to be associated with.
Okay.
And I think that it's because of, the way that I write the music. It's like, I'm sharing a lot of these perspectives and these voices for these underdogs and these people that are trying to come up that didn't necessarily have the opportunity or was counted out. I consider myself an underdog in that way. And so a lot of my music, it speaks to those people that are waking up 5 a.m. that are hustling, that might have other, mouths to feed at home, or, just trying to make the best out of their situation. Wow. I feel like that's the perspective that most of my music is coming from.
Wow. Now, growing up in New York, what is that like? Is it like, is it like what we hear about on TV? I've been in New York a couple of times. Trust me, y'all ain't got no trees. That is not a lie. But what is it like growing up in the streets of New York?
Growing up there is it's fast paced.
Okay.
It's fast paced, and because there's so many people in such a small area, like it breeds like a certain awareness, like that idea of like, people in New York, being real street smart and stuff. I could attest to that.
Okay.
From early ages, taking the trains, taking the buses, and, just that fast paced life, man, it kind of makes you grow up a little bit quicker, Wow. It just makes you, have to understand what's going on at an early age. And I feel like, that's the biggest thing that New York did for me.
Wow. So what's the next steps for you, man? You starting to blow up on the scene. You starting to get all this recognition. Everybody talking about you. Your name coming up in all these different conversations with all these big name folks. What's next for you? Where are we going with it?
Well, right now the next thing that I'm doing is I'm about to drop this Before the Throne EP.
Okay.
That's coming out on March 22nd. I can't wait to get back on the road. I got a virtual performance that I've been working on lately. I'm trying to tap into my little acting bag, see if there's anything there for me. But, it's still real early for me. So I just want to continue to pave way and make sure that the music speaks to more people and making sure that my brand becomes even more identifiable as time goes on.
Wow. Well, definitely. I want the EP. I want an autograph copy. Do I get it?
yeah, we got you.
Well, man, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today, right here on the #1 rated show. So tell me this. One thing that you did say, and it just kind of caught my attention and made me think of something. What is this whole online world like now? With music, it has always been such a live, let's get together, share that energy. Let's be in the same room. Let's party. Let's dance and all this type of stuff. What is this whole new era like? Trying to do a lot more of this stuff, streaming it and doing this stuff on video versus, the traditional ways that we're used to.
Yo, on the real, it's frustrating and it's not easy, but it's stretching a lot of artists and teams to like be more creative with the technology that we have. Cause it's like, there's nothing that beats being at a live venue, 5,000-10,000 people that are all here to enjoy the same experience. There's a certain energy that you can't duplicate through a screen, know? And it's like, I feel like that's the biggest thing that this whole COVID has presented for the world of entertainment. It's like, okay, how do we make these experiences so personable that even when you're looking through the screen, you can still turn up with us. And honestly, I feel that we're trying to figure out ways, but it's like, yo, you can't redo that,
Yeah.
You can't redo that. And it's like, although we're still connected and fans are still happy to do these virtual shows. It's like, nah, man, we need y'all to open this world back up so we can have that,
I don't think y'all young folks are shut down though, man. I passed by somewhere the other night. Y'all young folks are just all over the place, all on top of each other. Ain't no mask on, ain't no social distancing.
Yeah. Now, but you want to know that's going down there. Hey, up here, man, they're not letting us rock with no venues, no clubs, no nothing.
Yeah.
But it's like, and if you are out there, man, make sure you wear your mask. 2 weeks. You can't be around me for 2 weeks. I catch you outside with no mask on. So.
I was finna say, you can't be a community activist now if you ain't gonna tell folks to wear their mask. Well, man, once again, thank you so much for taking time out of your business schedule, man. And for real, man, in March when you drop that album, man, I want you to send one to the #1 rated business show. Autograph. I want the autograph though.
Autograph, plaques, we got all that for you, man.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it has been Niko Brown, and we will be back right after this.
This pandemic has many people suffering. Are you stressed? Are you not sleeping well? Are you suffering from neck pain, back pain, or headaches? Chiropractic can help. Chiropractic is a natural healing art that can resolve many of your ailments. Dr. Williams and Dr. Fowler of Align for Life are board-certified doctors of chiropractic with over 15 years of combined experience. They are located in South Atlanta and are available for your healthcare needs.
If you want to be fine, take care of your spine. Visit them at yourfinespine.com.
Is your business online? Well, in today's world, if you're not online, then your business is not going to survive. Do you have a WordPress website? Well, if you do, I want to make sure that you go visit my good friends at Fast Fix WP and make sure that WordPress website stays running smooth. Trust me, there is nothing worse than having a big presentation or having a customer on your site and then your site goes down. So I want you to go visit fastfixwp.com and make sure your site stays running smooth and stays online every time you need it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back right here on the #1 rated business show. I'm your host today, Kevin C. Pride. Lord have mercy, we having some technical difficulties. It's every time I take a day off, I promise you I come back and it's always some type of issues. But I am the host, Kevin C. Pride. Once again, we have a great show for you today. Coming up next on the program, here's the CEO of VME, Mr. JoJo Brown. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, brother, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful, man. I'm sitting here trying to read through your bio real quick. I ain't get it fast as I want to, but you don't work with some just everybody in the industry, Trey Songz, and I mean everybody, man.
Well, everybody's generous, but I've been fortunate enough to have had an opportunity to contribute to a handful of artists that I find to be culturally relevant.
Okay.
And that have had such an impact on music that I couldn't have scripted it better. But there's still some people I would like to work with, but I'm grateful for those who I had a chance to work with so far, and it's been an amazing journey.
Wow. Now tell us, give me an idea. First of all, just drop a little bit of your background because it's so long and so extensive, and you've done so much in your career. Just give them 3 things, okay?
Well, I'll tell it to you. I'll give you the trailer version and not the movie. I started as an artist. I was an artist in Mount Vernon, New York.
Okay.
Where Heavy D and the Boys, Pete Rock, CL Smooth, Dave Hall, all those guys, we all grew up and ran together. DJ Eddie F. All of those guys were my comrades.
Wow.
Growing up. So that's where I started. Al B. Sure is the person that really opened the door for me artistically. I was carrying bags for him along with my brother and some of our other friends. And Al was on.
Wow.
Day was on fire, and I was always in the rooms with him. And because I was in the room
and I was always willing to be quiet and just learn. Andre Harrell, God bless his dead, Andre never kicked me out of a meeting. And so I started around great people and people that were impacting the culture. And when my career didn't work out as an artist, I shifted into producing. And that's where Al really taught me a lot around production, him and Kyle West and DJ Eddie F.
Wow.
So I started producing. I had 2 kids at the time. I was about 19, 20 years old. I had 2 kids at the time, and I needed to provide for them.
Okay.
And I was passionate about production. And I started producing, and I made a whole bunch of album cuts that were on Uptown Records, whether it was, Heavy D or whether it was remixes. Horace Brown, Nesto Velasquez. So I did that. And I had one of my best friends growing up to this day is a guy named Case. And he made a little song called Touch Me Tease. And that little song really, really changed the trajectory of my career. And that's how I got on the radar of Kevin Liles and Lyor Cohen, because of a great guy named Kenny Smooth, who's actually now in Atlanta. Kenny hired me to kind of be his marketing liaison with Def Jam. Even though I wasn't a marketing guy, Kenny Smooth was generous enough to open up access to Def Jam in a way that had me show up on the radar of people like Julie Greenwald, Mike Kaiser, Kevin, Lyor, Russell. And they offered me a job as an A&R guy. And I took the job, obviously. And then from there, I built alongside Tina Davis and Kevin, we built a Def Soul. And at the time, Def Jam really wasn't doing R&B. And a great set of guys brought us an artist named Music Soul Child. So shout out to Mike MacArthur and Jerome Hibbs, who brought us that artist. I like how you on that project.
I like how you're trying to be all modest while you dropping all these platinum artists.
Well, listen, I'm dropping the artists, but also the people that were instrumental in me even having access to those artists. We were able to build an amazing brand that people don't always really connect with Def Jam, which is the Def Soul brand. So we had Case, we had Music, we had Montel Jordan, we had Cisco, we had Drew Hill, we had Kelly Price. So we really made a formidable R&B label, and I couldn't have done any of that stuff without the people that I just named. Whether it's Jaha Johnson, who went on to do great things, like I said, Tina. So that stuff was great. I was actually very early with Irv Gotti. Shout out to Irv, who's also down there in Atlanta, doing Ashanti. I recorded a lot of the early Ashanti records because Irv was so successful and so busy with Murder Inc. and he and I were friends. So, I believe that my success is directly tied to the agency of others. There's a thing that this whole thing about independence, and independence is a man-made construct. It actually doesn't exist.
Okay.
Nothing in this world is independent. Even if I bought a house and didn't quote unquote need nobody, unless I paid cash and built it myself, I had to get the bank involved. I had to get the construction people. No, seriously, right? So independence, I don't believe in independence. I think independence has people out here in the world feeling like, I got to do everything by myself and being overwhelmed and having anxiety. Now, there's a distinction between being independent and being self-sufficient.
Okay.
But self-sufficient will have you will shift your focus, I believe. And it has shifted my focus from how do I get it done to how does it get done.
Wow.
When I shift my perspective from how do I do it to how does it get done, it takes me out of a bubble and gives me access to other people that can help bring my vision to life. And so everything that I just said to you was because I looked at it as how do we get it done, not how do I get it done. And to be able to work with someone like Kevin for 25 years of my life and, working for him gave me access to Trey Songz, to Big Sean, to all of these people that we built under KWL. And it's because of my perspective of how does it get done, I think it's always given me opportunities to further myself, but not only myself, but those that I come in contact with and my family.
Wow. Now, this VME, you're calling this a tech company. Explain that for me.
Well, we're a tech-backed company. So VME is a division under ADX Labs, which is a Minnesota-based technology company that comes up with solutions for large, mid, and small-sized businesses. My boss, the chairman of the company, Steve Renner, built this company when he was about 25 years ago, when the internet was starting to boom. And Steve is a diehard blues player, guitarist, and had a love for music. So in 2017 or so, he hired some people to create an app called My Music. At the time, I had just left KWL, which is Kevin Lyle's management company, and I was consulting Arista. We were restarting Arista with David Massey. And I was also building a technology consulting company because I saw a huge opportunity to be a liaison between musicians or app or tech people in the entertainment business. I came across Mr. Renner's company through a gentleman that was then CEO of what's called My Music, which is an independent streaming platform that is under my watch. And long story short, the gentleman got fired, and Mr. Renner called me one day, and I thought he was calling to tell me, thank you for your time. And he called me and said, "Hey, I really appreciate what you're doing. You're really bright. I don't know what you're doing now, but I would love for you to be the CEO of the entertainment division."
Wow.
And I thought about it, and I talked about it with my family, and I thought it was a big leap of faith. And I just wanted to go for it because I always wanted to bring tech and music together. And we rolled up our sleeves last year and we formed VME. And we now have about 5 or 6 artists, but we also produce content. So we have a show called Involved, which is a community-based show.
Okay.
We actually are right now acquiring rights to concerts. We are producing, there's a couple of plays that I produced in my former company that we're going to bring. So we're a hybrid of music and the art. And we're just getting started. And we're based out of New York City. And ADX provides us with the technology that we need to be able to offer artist services, artist management, recorded music, and content production to the world.
Wow. Now, how many artists do you guys have right now that you're currently working with?
We have 5 artists that are signed to the label / management.
Okay.
Niko, who you talked to, MJ Songstress, Julian King, Kev Rogers, and Max Millie. All different kinds of artists. Julian and MJ were both products of The Voice that did very well. Julian is now actually in a Atlantic City play on one of the only shows that's on the East Coast right now, which is a Motown review kind of show.
Okay.
So he's out doing that. MJ is currently in the Maldives doing a performance with a band that she is part of, that she put together in addition to her own career. Niko, who you just spoke to, is his
he's a great young man.
Project is he's a great kid. He's being executive produced by Rhapsody, Grammy Award-winning artist who is part of Jay-Z's Rock Nation. Max Millie is the son of Dr. Fink, formerly of Prince and the Revolution. So he comes to us from musical royalty as far as I'm concerned. And Kev Rogers produced Jaden Smith's Icon Living and a bunch of tracks from Mir Fontaine, and he's on the way up. So we have those 5 artists. We also do artist services though. So shout out to my artist services team. Dave Anthony, who's an accomplished DJ and producer, built a company in Sweden that's really designed to serve up and coming artists so that they could find their way in this new music business. Technology has given us access to put out music. But here's the thing, 50 to 60,000 records come out every week. 50 to 60,000 records. So it's very challenging to cut through the cloth. And what we do at VME through our all music promo team, which is called AMP, we actually support artists in being able to cut through that noise and make their way in the entertainment industry.
Now, that was one question I was going to ask you. How has the business of music changed now? Because it's so much power in the artist's hands. You can do so much stuff independently. And it's just so many opportunities out there. Is that helping or is it hurting? Like, how is this whole the business side of everything changed?
Well, we have more access to the public as a creative than you've ever had before.
Okay.
But you're also competing with 50 to 60,000 records coming out each week. So it's changed in that way. The barrier of entry has been lowered, but also the discipline that is necessary to be a competitive business is missing in some areas. And it has nothing to do, in my opinion, with my generation versus Niko's generation. I think that's just noise. I think people have created that conversation to pit, particularly people in our culture against each other. Yes, there are some old school haters, but they're far and few between. I think what's missing is discipline. So what, you can put out a record tomorrow, but if you can't get up at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning to have a conference call with the head of playlisting at a major DSP, then what good is it for you to put the record out last night?
Okay.
And I think what technology is forcing us to do, and this is for all independent and major label signed artists, is that we get to work together. And this goes back to what I said, independence is made up. You cannot do this by yourself. If you are up and coming label, then you need to be able to have artists that are willing to put their music out. And if you are an artist that doesn't have a major label or major manager, you want to look at having people around you that can bring your vision to life.
Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there real quickly, because you're starting to hit on one of those type things that I think so many people kind of fail at or don't see the importance of, and that's having that team surrounding you, having other people that can keep this thing going. You know, when you need to be doing something else, you got somebody else that can keep the ball moving forward. Explain a little bit about, you know, putting this team around these artists and stuff like that, and how that really, really helps to kind of boost their success.
Well, it boosts their success because, going back to my first statement, which is it takes it from how do I get it done to how does it get done. And if I'm an artist that's out here on my own, then again, I'm making music to 5 or 6 in the morning, but I know that I have access to, you know, a playlister at Spotify, and they get up at 8 in the morning. Who around me do I trust that can take that phone call? Who around me do I trust that can actually speak on my behalf, in the vision of my behalf, and the vision that I have, in such a way that my vision is now being translated while I'm sleeping and being creative. So it's about having a team, but it's also about having the right team.
Oh, yeah.
It's also being willing to say, yo, I love you, you know, my man, you know, my man Inky's from around the way. I love you, man, but you can't really be the manager. Because I really got to have somebody that has some business acumen, or whoever it is. And to me, where I see a lot of gaps is I see gaps in the thinking, critical thinking. You know, the great brother Dr. Cornel West talks about how one of the things in our country, in America, that's deteriorating is our ability to use critical thinking. Okay. I even thin slice that a little bit and say critical thinking is missing from the creative community. Because again, I'm seeing so many artists and managers that aren't being critical thinking. And I think part of that is how we have allowed technology to influence our ability to produce results. Because of everything, if I put out a record tonight and 1,000 people comment on it, guess what, y'all? I'm actually not lit. I know everyone thinks you're lit because you put it out and 1,000 people liked it. You're actually not lit. You actually have so much more ground to cover. Okay. That you would want to actually be like, that's a great start, but what can I get to grow this? And I think with technology, how we've allowed ourselves to interpret technology has lowered the bar. It's low. Notice, I'm not saying it's technology. Okay. It's how we use the technology and how we wanted to validate our effort so quickly that we're ready to celebrate 100,000 streams. We're ready to actually pop champagne because we got 100. Man, when I was coming up, if you sold 100,000, you caught a brick.
Oh yeah.
they was looking at you like, money, you went triple wood. Right? So I just think that we need to actually, I think there's an opportunity for us to grow in our business acumen. It's an opportunity for us to raise the bar instead of lowering the bar of what we consider success, right? And I think there's an opportunity for us to also realize that, yo, guess what? Not everyone's gonna be Drake and Taylor Swift, but if you can begin to make $50,000, $100,000 as an artist with no major backing, then you're actually being okay. I was a starving artist. I was starving. I was a starving artist. We don't have to have starving artists anymore because technology can give us an opportunity where you can make a decent living as a recording artist. And I think if more and more people get comfortable with that, I think you'll start to see a thriving middle class in the entertainment business.
Wow. Now, how important in this day and age of content, how important is it for these young content creators to be making sure that they do the proper copyrights, making sure that they get their work published the correct way? Because I see so many kids out there just throwing it out, they're throwing it out there, and then YouTube is making millions of dollars off of them. Facebook is making millions of dollars off of them. So what do you tell your young artists about, content creation and copywriting?
Well, create content that you're inspired to create. Not all content is going to be able to even really be protected.
Okay.
Some stuff you're making on the fly. I'm making a video with my daughter, I'm not really necessarily going to monetize that. So I think people need to know, I always say, know where you are on your journey. Always get your musical composition copywritten. Okay. That's easy to do. You don't have to do it before it comes out and get all neurotic about it. But what you can do is you can, and all of this stuff is easily searchable, but it's just as important as it was, if not even more, than when we were kids. I'm no longer 40. So I remember when we were coming up and we needed to copyright our stuff. I think it's the same thing with these young kids, is to do that, is to copyright that. But I would also implore young content creators to take time. If you're going to create an album or a project, take time to have life experiences and let those life experiences influence the content that you put out. Spotify says put out more music so you can jumpstart the algorithm, and that works for Spotify. But when we were coming up, you took 2 and 3 years sometimes in between projects because you were living life, and your life experiences were driving your creativity. If I'm putting out music, every 45 days just because I want to put out music every 45 days, all I'm really going to do is regurgitate the same songs that I just put out 45 days ago because I haven't had any life experience.
That's true.
So when you hear these people, some of these things, you could take the verses off of one song and put them on the other because there was no life experience. And listen, and that's not a jab at new content creators because they're trying to get it. If older people or more wise people said to these kids or these new creators, slow down, trust the process, I think you would get more and more people that are creating from a place of experience as opposed to creating from a place of others' experience, right? Because I could make songs all day about others' experience, and there's some value in that. But boy, I think the most heartfelt music is made from people that are sharing their experiences as well. And you need time to do that.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion.
Well, speaking of experience, and a great teammate joining us to the program right now is Jimmy Maynes. He is the GM for VME. How are we doing today, sir?
That's Maynes. I want everyone to get
Maynes.
Maynes.
I have been getting that wrong all day. I'm so sorry, sir.
Yeah. That's all right. Absolutely.
How you doing today, man?
I
can't call it, bro. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing very, very well. We got JoJo Brown here on the line with us.
Absolutely, partner in crime.
so
So I apologize. I apologize for everything you said.
so tell us a little bit about what you're doing over there at VME.
Well, currently I'm serving as the GM.
Okay.
Really running day-to-day operations for the business with a heavy focus on touring.
Okay.
And a heavy focus on the A&R resourcing, and things of that nature.
Now you say touring?
Really just building the brand. Yeah.
You say touring in COVID?
Touring. Well, listen. I don't know what touring actually looks like. We're trying to figure that out. We're trying to figure that out. It looks a little different for everybody. But listen. I will say this. I will say that our touring schedule, while not as active pre-COVID, has been rather competitive.
Okay.
During COVID season. I mean, we've been doing a great deal of virtual touring. And it's been working out for us, and it's been working out for our artists.
Now,
so we are excited.
Now, how did you guys come together to start this brand and start this tech company?
Well, Joe, are you still on the line?
Yeah, I'm still here.
You want to take that?
Well, it started. Yeah, we've always worked together. Same vision, same passion. Since we were kids. So we've always worked together. When I was a rapper, Jimmy was my manager. So he was always the big brother and the one in our crew that was the leadership. So obviously being brothers, we had that connectivity. But from a business standpoint, we just always had this kind of passion for music. So fast forward throughout the years, he was vice president of Jive, Zomba's A&R and publishing. He managed people like Albie Shore. He put together the I Love the 90s tour. That's been one of the most successful tours in the last 5-6 years.
Okay.
So he's always done that. When I took the job over at VME, it was pre-COVID. It was November of 2019 was when the conversation started. So Jimmy was going to come in and work with us just from a consulting standpoint. We do have technology that has produced speakers and audio products. So Jimmy manages Naughty by Nature.
Wow.
So he had Vin and those guys come through and work with us to create to do some work around the speakers. And then when things started to shut down with COVID and we started to explore, he came in just to consult me directly and to work on a project that we had. That the chairman wanted us to work on, and it just grew from there. Again, when I look at it as how do I get it, how does it get done, as opposed to how I can do it, Jimmy is that. So he understands it. He has the same relationships that I have, if not more. And it was just a natural fit. And with all the success with Salt and Pepper and I Love the 90s and Naughty, he also provides VME with such a high profile level of executive that it adds value to the company. So to me, it was really a no-brainer for him to come in and really help guide the ship day to day.
It's amazing. I keep dropping all these names. I know all these folks, man. I grew up. This is my music you talking about. Not about Nature, Salt and Pepper, man. I had the biggest crush on Salt and Pepper. I can't wait to see your movie coming up, man. Your biopic.
Bro. Listen. Go to Lifetime. Go to Lifetime. Go to On Demand. It's out now. It's out now. Check it out. It actually came in number 3.
Okay.
Number 2 was a massive size sporting event. Number 4 was actually our doc on the making of the movie.
Okay.
So it actually charted really well.
Wow.
And right now, Joe and I are putting together another doc for Naughty by Nature. So stand by for that one, because that one is going to be just as impactful, just as interesting. This year, Naughty by Nature is going into their 30th year anniversary. You know what I mean? So we're setting that up now as well, and that will also be accompanied by a massive size tour, and that will be accompanied by another VME product which will be the 30th year celebration record of Naughty by Nature.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be an intense summer for us. We're excited about it.
I want to be a part of it, man. Sound like y'all gonna have some fun.
Come on, man. You're in right now. I thought that's what we were doing. We're not working on partnership right now. That's what we're doing, right?
There we go. Now,
yeah, absolutely.
Tell me this. You guys are such just heavyweights when it comes to the whole entertainment world. Let's talk a little bit about bringing this content and coming to the XOD platform. Tell me a little bit about what you guys are going to be bringing to the platform first.
Yeah, so shout out to Gerald Poe, who used to be a client of Jimmy and ours back in the day. And so shout out to Mr. Poe and the amazing team at XOD, an African-American created and owned streaming platform based out of Atlanta. We're bringing the content that we have in VME to the platform. Right now we have a music video show that we are producing, which is really going to be 24 hours of just music videos.
Okay.
Because I think that's gone. I think shout out to Tidal, and they really inspired me when I thought about it, because Tidal is one of the only places that has video playlists like that. So I listen to Tidal because it sounds best. But anyway, so we're gonna take all of our stuff over to Experience on Demand. Wow. The video show is coming. The concerts that Jimmy's talking about will be filmed. A lot of that stuff will air on Experience on Demand. I will be doing a series of coaching videos that will be available on demand. So on Experience on Demand. So what'd you say?
What are you gonna be coaching on?
Well, I have a 27-year history in a domain called transformational coaching, which is a specific domain of coaching that's related to NLP and things of that nature. So I'm going to be coaching really in a nutshell around supporting people with identifying what's working and what's not working, and then taking action steps to actually break down those walls. And it's so easy to go from, a lot of people have insight into what's not working, but breakthroughs occur in action. I can have insight all day. Oh, I know why I like that, why I'm like that. I hear people say that all the time. I'm clear. I know why I'm like that, but you're not doing anything about it, right? So I coach people in the space of when I'm not running this company, I coach people in the space of getting from I know what I know why I'm like this to, oh shoot. I'm taking action to change that. That's why I'm like that, and I'm taking actions to be different. So those things will exist on there. Jimmy has a big video background. He's actually directing videos for the company and producing stuff. So there's going to be content, live streaming content when the time is right, video shows, documentaries, and live performances.
Wow.
XOD, baby.
I can't wait to see you, man.
VME. XOD and VME.
I think you already answered all my questions, because I was going to ask y'all, why is this platform, so important for you guys to be a part of this platform? And it's the same reason why, that we became a part of the platform, just to see something, it is immaculately done. And like I say, it is Black owned, which is a beautiful thing.
We love that part.
Absolutely. We love that part. Yeah. And, and listen, yeah, Jimmy. Okay.
Well, I was going to say, listen, so that we're clear, listen, we love every opportunity and every platform that gives music an opportunity to be heard, and that gives the visuals an opportunity to be seen, right? So, we love and appreciate every platform. So while it doesn't matter, about the color, you know what I mean? It also just enhances our passion when we can partner up with people like Gerald Poe and others that look like us. You know what I mean? The bigger vision is to make sure that the messaging gets out. You know what I mean? So we want to stand in support with the Gerald Poes, but also the Gerald Swartzes. We want to stand in alignment with the Gerald Adobes. You know what I mean? For us, at this stage in the game, music is so important, culture is so important, that the only way to really get your culture out, the only way to really get your narrative out, the only way to really get your sound out, your vision out, is to make sure that we're not just talking to people from one particular culture. We want to tell everybody what our movement looks like, what our movement sounds like, what our movement feels like. It further amplifies our passion when we get to do it with people that look like us.
Wow.
When we get to do it with people that sound like us. You know what I mean? So we want to be clear in that too, because sometimes we can get so cultured that we forget that we're trying to get other people to understand why we feel. You understand what I'm saying? Like, like why we feel. Where's the passion coming from? Why do we march? Why do we shout? Why do we dance the way that we do? Right? Everyone that's dancing with us, they all know why we're dancing. Mm-hmm. Everyone that's watching us march, they don't necessarily know why we're marching. I need for you to stand in the march. I need for you to look different than I do so that you can understand why we're marching.
Wow. You
know what I mean? So our vision is to actually go out and get everybody with a focus on supporting the people that look and sound like us.
Wow.
But the bigger story is that we need to get this mission out to everyone, that Black people do own businesses that are not just focused on separatism, right? Our focus is on making sure that everybody understands why we make the kind of music that we do, where the passion lives. So I'm sorry, Joe, I just wanted to throw that in.
That's great.
It's beautiful.
That's fantastic. It's beautiful. Now, well said.
Now, VME, music technology company, artist services, artist production, artist management. What's next for the company?
Man, that's enough. I think that
movies.
Movies. I would say movies. Jimmy has a long-standing relationship with Flavor Unit Films.
Okay.
Shot Kim. I would say movies probably 2022, maybe 2023. So definitely movies, documentaries are coming. I think that we are in a time where people get so focused on what's next that there's a focus that gets drifted from what's now. And I'm pushing our crew and our company to really stay focused on what's now. Let's knock something out of the box.
Okay.
Let's do something great and let that inform what we do next. We're looking to introduce to the conversation, because I think there's enough perspective to go around. What we want to introduce to the conversation on a much larger level is the power of focus, the power of no, the power of, to Jimmy's point, of being collaborative. I think, again, our interpretation of how we use technology has got people, in my experience now, I put my coaching hat on because I still coach. Shout out to Robertson Lane and the Momentum Education team in New York and Atlanta.
Okay.
But even when I'm coaching, I hear people say, I'm going to start my nonprofit. It's 50,000 nonprofits. How about you go help someone that already got a nonprofit, right, and be in contribution? Or someone want to start their own record company. How about you go work for free for someone that has done this and you can learn? So I tie all of that together. When you say what's next, we're really focused on what's now. And we want to bring that kind of conversation to the creative community and hopefully to communities that are underprivileged. Because what we find is that those are the ones that end up biting off more than they can chew because they're in a survival mode. So without getting too deep, we want to stay focused on what's now and being great today so that flows over into tomorrow. Because if I'm great today and I was great for a week straight and I have a off day, right? I'm not going to get kicked off the team. But if I'm constantly having off days because I'm not focused, then nothing is going to work. And we want this to work. We are a group of people that come from music, that are passionate about people. And we have such tremendous opportunity to work with a man like Steve Renner and to work with ADX and to work with the Gerald Poes of the world, that we want to be great today and now. And this is a platform that you all are doing that gives people like us a chance to have a voice. And to Jimmy's point, let our story be told to the world.
Wow. Well, guys, thank y'all so much for joining us today right here on the #1 rated business show. I know you guys are super busy. If anybody wants to get in contact with you guys or wants to kind of work or bring their music to you guys, how can somebody get in contact with you?
Man, go to vmedia.com, scroll to the bottom. It says contact us. It will go right to our technology-based back-end office that will magically appear across about 8 different emails, and someone will absolutely get back to you. Or go to VMusic, VME official on Instagram, VME pretty much all over the place. And, drop a comment, drop your name, DM us, all the ways that people are getting in touch with people, they can get in touch with us. And we're someone from our team will definitely get back to you. And check out our artist services, man, and ladies and gentlemen, because it's built for you.
Well, man, we definitely gonna have to have a conversation offline, man. Thank y'all once again so much for joining us right here on the #1 rated business show. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been another episode. It's been a rough one today, full of technical difficulties and everything else, but we made it through. And we will be back next week. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, Kevin C. Pride, or I am KC Pride, to stay up with the show and all the stuff that we got going on. And until next week, we are out.
You're listening to WWE Real 1100 AM, and we want you to practice good hygiene by simply washing your hands. So enjoy